All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to By Design with Dr. Erika. I am your host, Dr. Erika, and my passion is to help professional women discover the confidence to say, screw the expectations of society. You know, you may have this PhD, this MD degree, you're a CEO, but you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do, and you can either get on board or you can kick rocks. You know, I want to help you find that confidence to say that and to basically live life on your own terms and essentially live the life that you were designed to do.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, she's talking to me. She's talking.
Exactly. And you know, that mindset is like, it's the impetus of why this show was created. That passion, that desire, I felt like we needed to have this platform to highlight amazing women that embody that mindset, those characteristics. And that's what we're about here. So this platform is basically for us to talk to those kind of women, not only talk about their successes, but also talk about the challenges, the roadblocks, the struggles behind the shine, right? Because
people don't talk about that much.
Right. You know, on Facebook, oh, she got a new car, and oh, she did this. And she made $10 million in 1 hour.
Yeah.
But you don't see all the struggle, all the ups and downs.
10 years behind that 1 hour.
Right, exactly. So we like to have those conversations here. But we also hope that you get some actionable tools and tips that you can use in your everyday life. So that is what we are about here. And today on our show, we have one of those amazing women that is doing her own thing. And I'm so excited to be here with Crystal Hadnott. And for those that don't know about Crystal, you're missing out, but let me tell you why. Crystal's story is not linear, right? There are a lot of hills and valleys throughout your journey, right?
Yeah, it's not linear at all.
Right. So a little bit about her bio. Crystal has battled a number of different health issues. She has looked death in the face due to colon failure, battles autoimmune disease, and she has overcome paralysis, which extended from her hip to her foot, which when I saw that, and then you're a marathoner, I'm like, wait a minute.
How do that work?
Right. But as a result of all those challenges, Crystal became really a student of all things integrative nutrition science, functional movement therapy, and holistic wellness. As a way of educating herself about the healing process of food, she also became obsessed with the science and the research, which landed her, receiving several certifications and publishing several scholarly articles as well. She has comprehensively studied over 100 dietary theories and innovative methods in integrative wellness in the development of her professional principles and private practice. She is like
a nerd.
I love it. I'm a nerd too. But you're like, I can't even, people say you're a triple threat. I can't even say triple threat because I don't even know like what the term would be because you're a nutritionist, a wellness coach, an educator, a speaker, an author. She's the bomb. So I am so glad that she's here. Crystal, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I tell people I'm always excited about sharing my story because it's a part of my healing. So each time I tell my story, I heal a little bit more. So with the hopes of healing someone else in the process.
Right. So
thank you.
And no problem. I'm excited to get into it. One of the joys of having this platform and having this show is that I love understanding the journey of someone from where they were to how they got to where they are now. Mm-hmm. And you said you're a nerd. I'm also a nerd because I cyber stalk people in preparation for this show. So I was looking back.
I stalk people too.
Okay. I'm not alone. I was looking back, at sort of your beginning education-wise, which was interesting because you
different background, totally different background.
Right, you're this fitness guru.
You Google and go to like page 3. People are like, "Is this other girl?" I'm like, "No, that's me."
Right,
that's me, my first life.
So tell us about that, Crystal. Like, what was
So, Crystal, so I have always had a passion for public policy and politics. So in my initial career, I really worked in the area of public policy and the political aspect, leading up into working with large major corporations doing lobbying, or what they call strategic partnerships, which I say is another term for lobby. So strategic partnerships is now the political way of saying it. But that's basically was my first career, and it always extended around health and education. So my passion has always been health and education. So I worked from, I guess I tell people, from the other side of the couch in health and education, and now I'm working now on what I call the more direct side of the couch versus the back end or behind the scenes of the couch.
Gotcha. So you said your passion was always health and wellness. How did you know that? Because people struggle with that, you know.
So it was, so for me, I grew up in, and this is gonna sound so morbid, but it's so true. I just grew up in a family where everybody was just dying through health ailments. I mean, and I think and it's so traditional amongst, especially people of color, to, you know, turn 60 and die of a heart attack, and it's okay. And I'm like, this is not how life is supposed to be. Or even leading up to death, not having a full quality of life because you're on all these prescription drugs, and it was just so much and so heavy for me. And I was doing my family tree for a class project. I will never forget this. And it was middle school, so this is when it's really kind of like this aha popped in my head. I knew my grandparents, which was a blessing. But I also knew that they had these major health ailments. And when people were talking about the things that their grandparents were doing and their great-grandparents were doing, or the age that they were living to, I knew that was not my story. And I was just like, everybody just taking insulin and popping pills. And I mean, my grandfather, his way out was, I mean, he was so diabetic to where before he died, he lost a leg, and then the other leg, and then the arm. And I was just like, I don't want that to be my story.
Right.
And so it was, even then, it was kind of like in my head pressing to make me want to do something different. And so that's kind of when the aha finally hit my head then. And so just moving on to my career, I thought the problem was policy. And so I just really was just like focusing on changing policy. It's the healthcare. We don't have proper healthcare, which is true. But then I realized, you know, when I pivoted my career, just through my own health ailments, because I understood the policy. I had a great job, making great money with great resources, and had amazing healthcare, but I still didn't get the same amount. I still didn't get what I needed from health and wellness. And so that's when I saw the lack of education from the perspective that I think was necessary. I call it, and not to get so, it's kind of like a form of institution racism, because it's like you're giving this much information, but you're not giving all of the information. Like if I went to the doctor, they will tell me what pill would fix the symptom that I was having. But my question was always, and because I was a PhD student, I was a researcher. So my question was like, well, what was the root cause of me getting to where I'm at now that I need this pill that caused this symptom? And they couldn't answer that question for me. And so that's kind of where I was like, okay, this is where the problem is. There may be a small problem with access to healthcare, but the larger issue is that I don't want to worry about fixing my symptoms and bandaging my symptoms, but I want to be able to expose people to understanding the root cause of their problem. There's a quote that I always say to my clients, like, if you never, you know, heal from a hurt, you end up bleeding on people that didn't cut you. And so if I'm sick and I can't do what I need to do, but I'm taking all the pills that the doctors told me to take, that starts the breakdown of our Black families or our families of color, because my mom cannot live her life to her full quality and take care of me the way she needs to, because she's not at the level of health that she needs to be at. So that's when I made the pivot to where I was, because I wanted to answer the questions that I wasn't getting answered, and kind of like shift to, you know, kind of play in this area of providing people with not just information, because you can Google information, but empowering people with knowledge so they have the understanding to sustain their health, and not just, you know, oh, eat fruits and vegetables and drink water. We all kind of pretty much know that, you know, if we eat fried chicken, we know what's going to happen. So it was this like, but what's the root cause to a couple of things that are happening to me? Like, I'm eating healthy now. Why do I still feel like X, Y, Z? So really just answering those back questions that was not getting answered.
Right. Okay. And it's so funny. I'm smiling like completely on the inside, because you're talking about sort of the quick fix, right, to different healthcare problems. And the funny thing is, you may not know this, I used to work for Big Pharma. My entire career.
I was the lobbyist for the Heart Association. So I loved it when I was with them, because money. So yeah, I'm good with that. But then it was like, do I want to peddle these pills to my community like this? Oh.
Right. And that was one of my challenges, right? You know, being a pharmacist by training, and then being in pharma, I found it hard.
Because you see the need,
right?
But at the same time, you're seeing like there has to be more,
right? Especially in some of the more like general cardiovascular chronic diseases, right? Like hypertension.
Exactly.
I'm like, why are you on 3 pills for hypertension? Like, let's get real.
They're taking one because the other one gave them a symptom.
Right.
So before you know it, they're on 8 pills because this pill now made my blood pressure low. So now I got to take this to take. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense.
And that's what I tell people. So you just have this forever cut that's just like bleeding. And so every time something new happens, you like bump that cut and reopen that wound. You know, you're not really, you're not completely healing from the root cause of your issue. You're just kind of masking those symptoms.
Do you find that challenging when you're talking to your clients? Because a lot of people want that, you know, that microwave solution. Do you?
Oh God. Yeah. Especially now. But if they give me enough time to talk them through, they get it. Because the first question I always ask my clients before they even sign up to do anything with me, I always suggest that they just have a 15-minute phone call. I was like, let's talk first. And the first question I ask is, are you willing to give up the things that make you sick?
Ooh.
If you can't get past that question with a yes, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Because, I mean, it gets deep from there. Because from there, then we go back to, that's why I said I deal with the whole self. And so I'm not going to just tell you healthy foods. We're going to talk about when you say, oh, I'm always craving chocolate chip cookies. And, you know, the next question I was going to ask them is, can you remember the moment you first had a chocolate chip cookie? And they'll say something like 6. What was happening at that moment? What was the feeling that you had? Because generally that craving is attached to an emotion that you want to experience in your adulthood now. And the only way you know how to satisfy it is to get that cookie.
Okay.
So it starts opening up wounds that you may not want to talk about.
Right.
So it's really not the cookie that you're craving or having a problem with sugar. It's just that you haven't dealt with an emotion from your past that's making you eat the cookie.
So you're like a nutritionist, life coach, all in one. I've been a nutritionist before.
You just got to get ready, because I tell people there's the food on your plate, and then there's the food that you put on your plate that's not food. You know, like your world sits on your plate.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, like I tell people, if you have a long day or you going through a breakup, you walk into your house, you open up the refrigerator, you're not hungry, but you're seeking something. You're trying to fill a void. So normally we fill it with stuff that's attainable. And a lot of times that's food. So you open up the refrigerator, staring at the refrigerator because you want to fill yourself with something for that hole, but it's not even in that refrigerator. So you're just staring at it like there's nothing here. I'm like, no, there's something there. It's just not what you need to fill that void that you feel in.
Huh.
So we talk about it because I can't change your eating behaviors if we don't talk about the root cause of those behaviors. And so I tell people, we talk about the root cause to those eating behaviors. We talk about the root cause of your ailment. If you're coming to me with some type of autoimmune or cardiovascular disease, we talk about what's the root cause of that. We talk about the root cause of it all, not just it in a singular fashion. Like, I'm not going to deal with you singular because they all affect each other. They're all interconnected, whether we want to realize it or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like that. Yeah, that's a different perspective. Like, I've seen nutritionists before, and it's always been a half.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about food. That's a part of it.
Yeah.
But it's work. And I tell people, and you can go to a nutritionist. And I tell people, that's going to be the difference with me. You can go to a nutritionist and you'll feel great for a good 30 days. You'll be like, yes. And then you wonder why you go back.
Yeah.
Because we didn't fix the issue.
Yep. That is true. Okay.
And then so now you're on this roller coaster of, you made 3 months out of 6 to 12 months, you feeling good. And the other 3 to 6 months, you feeling like crap.
Right.
And you're on this constant roller coaster of picking up, like, okay, I'm gonna do good now, and then you fall off, and then I'm gonna do good again, and then then you fall off again. So it's just understanding those things that people really never really deal with.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the journey it's like a interesting journey, but it kind of ties together,
Yeah. So with my journey, it all ties in. I tell people my passion was developed through what I call pain, pressure, and perseverance. The P's, right? I was like, passion normally is defined through your pain, your pressure, and your ability to persevere. And so I tell people, not knowing, while I was in undergrad, the first health ailment I experienced was colon failure. Mm-hmm. And, and they were just like, well, let's just hope your colon start back working. And
wait, let's just hope it stops.
Yeah, you don't die of toxicity. Because I was at a point where enema wasn't going to help. There was nothing that they could medically do to fix the problem. They're just saying, we're going to just keep hoping, if we feed you through IV and liquids, and when we're able to, and you're not so compacted, we're going to try an enema. And it's just like, but in this process, it's just hope you don't die of toxicity. Because I had so much buildup that it was causing chest pains because I had food that was all the way up to my esophagus because it wasn't going out of my colon anymore. Right. So I was like, and I'm thinking to myself, food rots in how many days? So I'm thinking about like what that is doing inside of my system. And the fact that it was like causing me to have breakouts and it was just, and I had no energy. So I literally was just laying there and I was like, well, that's not an option. Like, and I was like, well, what caused my colon to get to where it got? And they couldn't answer that question. It was like, some people genetically have, a weaker colon than others. And if you're eating something your body wasn't used to, it probably didn't just process the same way. And I was just like, it was all these maybes, probablys, it may have been this and it could have been that, but we're not really sure. I'm just like, this is not working. And so that's when I kind of really got into food, because I'm like, so the root cause has to be something related to food. Right. Because the big denominator here is food. So that's when I got into researching nutrition and nutrition science and food. not understanding that this whole process of me getting this degree, because at first it was a couple of books. Then I started taking classes.
Uh-huh.
And then it became, oh, you know, you'll have a degree if you, I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, so it became this like process. And mind you, I'm still on this track to my political career. So I wasn't thinking of it from a work perspective. Mm. And so fast forward, I'm, you know, moving forward into my political career, and past 5 years pass. I'm working as a lobbyist for the American Heart Association, and I slip and fell at work and end up becoming paralyzed from hip to foot. And so in that process, again, you know, the doctors was like, let's just hope you start, you know, getting movement again. Cause I got feeling where I felt the touch. So they was like, okay, good, you're not paralyzed, but we don't know when you'll be able to ever move again. Cause there's no, you know, it's different for everybody when it comes to nerve damage. It may be 3 months, it may be a year, we don't know. And I was like, okay. So I literally like stared at my leg every day. And when I tell people this story, they laugh at me. I just stared, and I kept telling it to move. Like, and I did this for 6 weeks, laying on my couch, just like, if this leg does not move, like it was like literally breaking me, because I had to have people put me on the toilet, you know. Mm-hmm. It's very humbling experience when you can't move your body. So I end up gaining movement and went through therapy. And then again, dealing with doctors, nothing against doctors, but I was just like, man, it's like,
you need a better answer than,
you know, they have their space and they have their job. And now I get it and understand. Then I was frustrated because I'm like, you should know more. And I'm like, no, that's not really their job. They're doctors of medicine. Right. And I need to understand that they know medicine, right, but they don't know other stuff, you know, outside of what they're confined to. Mm-hmm. So they were like, well, just keep this cane, and this is going to be your new normal. Like, just learn how to deal with moving around with a cane. And I'm in my late 20s, early 30s, and I'm like,
canes aren't sexy.
It's not sexy. And I always tell people, I was like, I can't pick up a man at a bar, you know, and I can't wear my stilettos, you know. And I was just like, it's not gonna work. I was like, you know what, I left that physical therapist office, and I told them, I said, watch, I'm gonna run a marathon. She was like, you can't even walk without assistance. How are you gonna run? Uh-huh. You know, and then run 26.2 miles. I was like, watch. And so literally I focused on just learning more. I went back to food, and because I remember reading about muscle healing and development through certain foods and vitamins and minerals. So I went back to that information. Ran my first marathon 9 months after that. And still focusing on this whole political career. Fast forward to 10 years now.
So wait, 10 years of doing both, 10 years of.
Yeah. And so, okay. And then here I am, well, almost 10 years, 8. Because 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune. And autoimmune, and mind you, before you get diagnosed with autoimmune, generally you're like in this whole year of, if not more, feeling like you're crazy. Like, you know, I'm running marathons, I eat well, you know, because I have this nutrition background. I'm very active, but I never felt right. And no doctors would believe me, because they run blood work. They was like, I'm like, your blood pressure is perfect, your cholesterol is perfect, your vitamin levels are perfect, you know, your weight is amazing, you're active, you eat good, like, you're fine. And I kept telling them, like, something is wrong with me, like, I'm not fine. And finally, you know, I just believed that this is the way I'm supposed to feel. I don't know why, but this is the way I'm supposed to feel. And got this real close relationship with my doctor, and was just having a side conversation after one of my annual exams. And I was like, yeah, you know, I haven't been sleeping much because of the night sweats, you know, just aging, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, okay, you have a night sweats? I was like, yeah. And, you know, I'm not running as much because of it. I said, between that and I'm having these frequent asthma attacks. I think they're asthma attacks anyway. And she was like, well, what are they like? Because I have asthma, but I don't have issues with asthma. So I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, my chest get tight, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, She's like, so you have a night sweat, your chest is getting tight. And what else? I was like, well, I think that's it. I said, I get so fatigued, but I'm running all these marathons. I was training for a 50-mile race. So surely it's normal for a person to feel tired in the middle of the day, right?
Right.
I was like, and I just have these periods where I have extreme exhaustion all of a sudden, where I'm just like literally taking a nap in the bathroom at work.
Oh, wow.
She's like, none of this sounds good, Crystal. Right. Collectively, I know you've given her reasons why individually they sound right, but collectively they don't. So she went and ran more tests that they normally don't run. And that's when I got my autoimmune diagnosis. And so I was like, okay, if I didn't have a casual, friendly conversation with my doctor, that test would have never I would have never got diagnosed. So that through all that frustration and in that process, I end up, leaving my job because I was starting to be just so sick. And I, jokingly, I was like, not accepting clients or whoever wanted to talk about their health problems because I was having problems. I was like, let's just all talk. Let's talk. And so jokingly on Facebook, and that's literally how my business got started. And by the end of the day, I had talked to 3 people and just literally having these conversations with people. And then one of our local news station heard about it and they were like, hey, we heard about this, this health empowerment business that you have. I'm like, what?
You're like, what business?
It was like, we want to do an interview. I was like, okay, so literally like a week after leaving my job, I'm on TV talking about a business that don't exist. And they were like, how do people get in contact with you? What's your website? And I literally like ran home after that interview, created a website real quick before they ran the story and put it up on their website.
Oh, wow.
And that's how it got started. It started from just literally me, want to provide, a space for people to just talk and maybe I can help or at least make you feel like you're not crazy.
Right. Or not alone also.
So that's how I felt. Like I was losing my mind. Like, I know something's wrong. So that was kind of the start of Synergy and how it got started. And hence the name too, because I told people I want to create a space of synergy where people can connect and connect with me, but create a space to where I'm not just dealing with you from a food perspective, but we're dealing with all different parts of you and learning how they all intertwine and interconnect and create this synergy amongst each other. So that's a long story, but that's it.
No, that's interesting because
so I tell people it's like divine intervention. I never knew, in the process of me learning about trying to help myself, that I would one day have a business where people are paying me to do something that I was like, I just want to help.
Right.
Not understanding that was a need that people needed. And so I was like, it has to stop right here. Like people have to have that person that they can go to and get the information and get their questions answered. So that's kind of how Synergy got started and how I got to where I'm at now.
I think that's great because, a lot of people think from a different direction. They think about, I want to start a business to make money and then that business is going to be X, Y, and Z. Whereas I think if you come at it from the perspective of, I want to serve X, Y, and Z population, it's such a different energy that you bring to the business.
But then I tell people, and it's the first part, if you take any business class, if they tell you if your product or service is not serving a need, you're not going to make any money. So it came from a space of something that I know I needed, and understanding that there may be other people who may also need the same thing.
Right.
But but I had all my heart into it too. So it was just like, I was like, look, I can tell you my story, and I think it helps when people are like, okay, you get it.
Right.
So, because when people came to me, they were just like, the first thing is like, well, I know you probably been skinny all your life and active all your life, so you don't understand. I'm like, well, I used to be a size 14.
I saw that. I saw that, and I was like, what? Because I've seen your marathon pictures.
Yeah, I was like, nah.
Yes.
Let's talk. That was Crystal, when Crystal Colon was jacked up. A lot of people talk about gaining weight as they got older. I was like, no, like in college, I didn't realize how toxic I was. And I ended up literally going from a size 14 to a size 00 at one point. And that's because of the Graves' disease though. But, my normal size is like a 4'6", but not understanding my body was operating in different sizes because of my state of my health, and helping people understand that, like, your natural size may be this and not that. It may be smaller or bigger depending on, what's going on inside of your body.
Right. Gotcha. That's so cool. So, one of the questions I usually ask people about the transition from sort of corporate to entrepreneurship is, what was the fear around it? But I don't know if that sort of.
Yeah. So, afterwards,
Okay.
I would say afterwards. Once I got started, and it was all just like, at first it was like all, roses, because it's like, this is so dope. People want me on TV. I was on the radio. I was getting it was just like, I had all this free marketing for this business. Like, it was just like falling in my lap, and I was just like, this is amazing. And then it all fell, so, and I tell people, and not in a bad way. So I did lose business. I lost money. But the one thing, it wouldn't have been so hard on me at one point if I was okay with losing people, places, and things in my life in this process. Because what you got to understand, once you find your passion, it may be people that's around you or places and things that you used to do that may no longer fit the version of yourself that you are now.
Right.
And being a Libra who just like love, peace, hold hands type of person, I was just like, they don't like me. I was just like, I took it to heart.
Right.
And so I would always tell entrepreneurs that, even if everything seems smooth, just understand that when you truly reach the success of your business, there's a possibility that you will lose people, places, and things, and you have to be okay with that. Because I spent probably over a year just, trying to people please and keep things that no longer served me, and realize that, no, like it's okay to shed like a butterfly, right? Like it's okay to shed those things, but that was a fear for me. So just understanding like that's okay. Don't fear the loss of the old to gain the newness that you are. So.
Well, that's a great tip, because you can't take everybody with you. Everybody's not going to come on your journey. Your journey. And
it's your journey. And once you, and I tell people, for me, I look at it as my ministry. And if I'm going to take my business as serious as something that's being my ministry, I have to be okay with everybody not accepting and following.
Right.
They didn't follow Jesus, so why would they follow me?
Right.
So
a whole different perspective.
Who am I? So I had to kind of change my perspective on it and not look at it, and not even look at it as a loss, but just knowing that I'm now on a different version and on a different journey with different things and people and places to go. Like I'm no longer because I'm a runner, I always think I'm no longer at mile marker 1. So I don't need just water. at mile marker 3, they start giving you Gatorade and stuff like that because you need a different type of fuel because you're putting on more mileage and using more sweat. So I look at it like I no longer need that water. I now need the Gatorade. Right. So it's okay that I left the water behind.
Right. I like that.
I now have Gatorade.
Right.
I'm now moved on to, this part of my life.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, great. So I want to switch gears a little bit. We've kind of talked about your journey here, but now I actually want to switch and let's talk about some wellness things because that's like where I geek out. I I love like the health and wellness area. I buy all tons of books and thought about getting certificates in health and wellness. So
yeah, just do it. I did it all. I'm still learning. Since COVID, I have taken, because Yale, everybody has all these free health classes right now. Girl, Yale I'm a nerd too.
Yeah.
I mean, I have books sitting right next to me. Like, this is my kitchen. I'll turn it over. Like, I keep books in my kitchen. I have books in my living room. So I tell people it's okay.
Right. Now, you have a couple of books, right?
So I have 2 books and my health and wellness book, actually. So they're my memoirs. And I thought it was so important for me to come out with my memoirs so people understand my story, so they understand my health and wellness book, because it's really about my principles and my practice and my approach to nutrition. And once they understood me, the person, I think they'll understand and appreciate my approach.
Right.
And so I came out with my memoir and books about me as a person first. And so this year, Well Nourished is the name of the book. And so Well Nourished is coming out this year. And it's a book just about my principal practices and approach to nutrition.
Gotcha. Do we have a release date yet?
It's supposed to be October. So hopefully that's still a go. If, the printing people ain't mad because of COVID or something like that. But yeah. So October is my birthday. It's also the anniversary to my business. And so I thought it was only proper that it also be the release date for the book.
Awesome. Congratulations. Coming out. Yay.
I'm excited.
Yay. We'll have to check that out.
Yes. So but I have a couple of ebooks and stuff like that too.
You have a lot on your website.
Yeah, I have a lot of I tell you, because I always it's hard for me to write blogs or post, because I end up writing 10 pages or 20 pages. So I was like, okay, this is an ebook, because it's it's nothing that I can edit out. All the information is needed. So I do have several ebooks.
Okay. So we'll have to make sure we get all those details to post in our show notes so people can find those ebooks and those resources after this is all over. Thinking about sort of the audience that we target a lot of professional women, which you've been in corporate,
yes,
it can get crazy.
Stress.
Exactly. And some people, when you think about going back to the pharmaceutical thing, people think of health and wellness with pills and exercise and eating and sort of that perspective. I wanted to know if we could just touch on a little bit of how stress and things like that actually do play a role in your health.
I tell people stress is the number 1 killer. A lot of people think it's one of the major diseases, but if you look at the root cause to those diseases, it's always stress. Stress is always a factor. So if you look at cancer, heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, hypertension, the one factor that they all have in common is stress. And so I tell people stress is technically the number 1 killer. But I tell you there's what you call acute and chronic stress. So acute stress, what everybody is experiencing right now, kind of short term in sparks, because everybody right now is experiencing some level of stress. And then there's chronic stress that kind of does something different to your body. But when stress enters your body, there's this thing called, it's like the brain gut connection. And helping people understand, like most people think stress and they immediately go to your wellness as it relates to your mental health. But your brain and your gut are connected. As a matter of fact, like the new research that's now in health and wellness is they talk about how the gut is your second brain. And so helping people understand that whatever's going on in your brain is indirectly affecting your gut. Once your gut or your microbiome, which is basically like your genealogy of your gut, once your microbiome is changed because stress changes your microbiome, every disease, every ailment, every symptom starts to happen at that point. It can start off like, oh, I have a headache. It can start off like, oh, I don't know why I'm constipated. Oh, I don't know why I have diarrhea. And it can be, and you can have both of those things in the same day. Mm-hmm. It's just these small things that kind of irritate your gut. You all of a sudden people come to me all the time, especially people who have high stress level jobs. They was like, I don't know why all of a sudden I have all these food intolerances. I was like, yeah. I knew. Like, I wasn't allergic to peanuts when I was younger. I was like, I know why. Because once you change, like I said, it's your gut microbiome is your genes of your gut. You can change the makeup of your genes of your gut and create a food intolerance. Mm. They don't realize that the root cause of that was stress. So you technically may not be gluten intolerant. You technically may not be intolerant to nuts. It may be the fact that your gut microbiome has shifted and changed because of stress. So with my clients, the first thing I do when they come to me is we work on one, basically taking out irritants that the stress irritants and foods that are stress irritants, because once your body is stressed, it creates inflammation, which is normal. Mm-hmm. I tell people that's your body way of protecting the whole fight or flight. And inflammation looks like, arthritis is an excess of inflammation in the joints. Heart disease, the excess of inflammation of the heart. A stroke and cancer or inflammation that sits in our cells. Mm-hmm. And that's what people don't realize. Like, so they're all based on inflammation, and inflammation is caused from stress. Mm-hmm. And so we look at changing by removing those irritants out your body. Then we go in and we repair your gut wall, which repairs repairs the gut microbiome, and then replace it with nutrients. That may look like, hey, I've been working out and trying to lose weight, and I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I'm eating healthy, I'm exercising. But if your gut microbiome is out of balance, your body is not even recognizing the nutrients that you're intaking, right? Because it's not absorbing the nutrients. So just helping people understand that stress, it does all of that to the body. It can totally throw your body out of whack, where you think you're experiencing some issues or struggling with weight loss or struggling even with hormone issues, because you can inflame your thyroid, which then indirectly mess with your hormones, which that was my issue with my autoimmune. I have Graves' disease. So I stressed out my body to the point to where now I had an overactive metabolism. And so, which means I wasn't absorbing nutrients the way I was supposed to absorb, and all kind of other stuff. So helping people understand that stress can literally switch the way your whole body and mind operates. Right. Yeah.
How does that notion, like, how does that go over? Because I can imagine if you're talking to somebody that's like you said, in a high stress job, they're going to say, well, I can't quit. So
yeah. And so that's why I tell you I have to deal with the whole person, right? So generally before they even have a consultation with me, they fill out this whole, it's an assessment, and there's a page dedicated to lifestyle. Mm. So before I even consult with you, I have an understanding what your lifestyle looks like. So it's not about quitting your job. So a lot of times it may be, what are some practices, and I'm not talking about, okay, go do yoga. What are some practices that we can do throughout the day because you can't just do yoga in between conference calls.
Right.
Like, it's not hard. You know, like, what are some things that we can do to help mitigate that stress? Or even if we can't mitigate the actual, what I call environmental stress that you're in, what are those foods that make that inflammation worse? So helping them understand and identify high inflammatory foods. Because if your body is under stress and it has inflammation buildup, and then you eat high inflammation foods, that's when your body kind of goes over the top. So helping them understand that when you're going through a lot of stress, you cannot have high inflammatory foods. And sometimes that hides in what we call healthy foods. For instance, eggplants, tomatoes, bell peppers, healthy foods, high in inflammation.
Wait.
Yeah.
Bell peppers?
So helping people understand, yes, ma'am. Help you understand on those days that your body is already under attack with stress, you cannot take other foods that add more inflammation, because that's where the health ailments come in. That's when you experience the headaches. That's when your gut gets upset and out of whack. That's when your body it makes it hard for your body to lose weight. That's where your body gets achy and you don't know why it's achy. You haven't worked out or anything, but your muscles are achy. Or you're experiencing insomnia. All of those are related to high levels of inflammation within the body.
Wow. That just hurt my heart a little bit, by the way.
Yeah, it does a lot of people, because I tell people, one thing I say, tell me what you eat in a typical day. Because generally we eat about 10 foods. That's it. Like in your cabinets and refrigerator, you have about 10 foods. That's it. And, you know, most people are not eating a variety of foods. You eat about 10 foods. And so when I go through and I, out of the 10, figure out which one of those foods are high inflammation, and it's like, okay, Monday through Friday, you might not want to eat these. You know, let's focus on these.
Right.
You know, so helping them understand that process. Or like, for instance, tomatoes, and I love tomatoes. I love pizza. So
you just
I know
became
that
my favorite nutritionist and health coach in the world, because you said you love pizza.
I eat a whole pizza every Saturday by myself. So, but I tell people I eat pizza once a week now on Saturdays, because I know that I can't have my tomatoes every day because of the amount of inflammation, and I run throughout the week. So I always wait to Saturday evening to have my pizza, because Sunday is my off running day. So I'm not going to add more inflammation to my body by stressing it out with running. So you have to kind of like work hand in hand with your body and understand when to intake certain foods.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did you say, I want to make sure I heard you right. You said that you don't want to add more inflammation by running? Is that what?
Yeah. So, because running stresses out the body. So, and it's natural, because it's like, I tell people, so the inflammation inflammation sits into your joints to protect your joints when you're doing any form of exercise. And that's natural. That's why sometimes I laugh when people say, well, my knees hurt when I run. I was like, is it your knees run? Or is it because something you ate before you ran? You know, so we really kind of talk about that, you know, or is it, you know, it could be a food that you're eating that's adding inflammation to your body. And then you go do something like run, which your body naturally, to protect your joints, your body creates a level of inflammation, which is normal because of the stress on your joints, to protect your joints, because inflammation is a protector. It only becomes harmful when there's an excess.
And I never thought about that. Okay.
Yeah. So I tell you, we break it down. Like, it's like really helping people. That's why I say understand the back issues that you're probably not going to get in a doctor's visit.
Right.
So, and just understanding how to now make your life as, you know, reaching your peak performance. I tell people, whether it's in running or at work or just living, you know, to your full potential through food, and understanding what that looks like.
Gotcha. Okay. So let me ask you this, you know, again, going back to the idea of busy women trying to do everything and wear so many hats. What's one thing that you could tell them that they could do, you know, today or this week that would get them on the path to at least starting a healthier journey?
Allow yourself to live imperfectly. Because
Okay.
most of the time, our problem is we try to perfect it. Women come to me, they come to me, I'm going to do this and this and this and this, and I'm going to drink a gallon of water. And I'm just be like, no, you're not.
All in one day. We're going to change all that
First
in
of
one
all,
day.
you're not going to put that amount of stress on me to help you get there. And you're not going to set yourself up to fail. Like, you're not. So I tell people, allow yourself to live imperfectly. So when I say that, if you don't get a gallon of water in that day, it's okay, try tomorrow. Like, don't trip about it. Like, don't focus on it. Like, leave it alone. Like, tomorrow is heavy. Drop it, like drop it. So I tell people, I tell all my clients, allow yourself to be, when they meet with me, I say, now this is your protocol, your treatment protocol, this is your meal plan, but don't have this perfect expectation from yourself, because you're already going to fail when you start that way. So pick a day that you're not going to even worry about what you eat, what you drink, or anything. Just pick a day. So start there. We're going to find one day a week where you say, you know what, today I'll do whatever. My days are Saturday. That's when I have my pizza. Okay. So I tell you, so allow yourself to do that and work your way into a habit and take micro steps versus seeing that, because people will come to me, meat eaters, not eating 3 meals a day, and all of a sudden want to be a raw vegan and have 5 meals a day, drink a gallon of water. No. It sounds good.
Well, it's so many things out there. Like,
we're going to be like, for breakfast, this is what we're going to do this week. We're not going to even focus on lunch and dinner. Leave that alone. If you're not doing all 3 meals right, let's start with just one and fixing it. We're going to fix one. And once one become a habit, then we'll work on lunch. Okay. So once lunch becomes a habit, then we'll move to dinner. Right. Then when dinner become a habit, we might add a few snacks in there.
Okay.
But we don't even talk about food first. I tell you what, I focus on helping my clients. One, because most people's biggest problem is their bodies is not getting them the water that they need, or it's getting too much water, or they're overdosing on vitamins.
Okay.
So I explain to people all the time, there's a such thing as too much water and too many vitamins. There is a such thing as too much of a good thing. So I really work with people kind of hashing out, not overdoing it when it comes to being healthy. Because that's normally the worker woman, especially Black women. Mm-hmm. We didn't Google what we need to do. Our homegirl didn't told us, or somebody posted on Facebook that don't have any education. Yeah. This is what you're supposed to do. So we try to do all the things. Right. And we're taking all the supplements, especially right now. I had people I was like, look, first of all, vitamin D is the worst vitamin that you can get overdosed on. So don't do it. It will shut down your entire system and do the opposite of what you think. And vitamin C will cause you to have constipation, insomnia, and headaches. And most people right now are saying, since they've been in quarantine, that I don't know why I'm having these bad sleeping habits. My sleep is interrupted. Blah, blah. I was like, because you're probably taking vitamin C. Stop.
Oh my gosh.
Because somebody done told you need to boost your immune system by taking vitamin C. Yeah. So I was like, stop.
And we're inside, so we need extra vitamin D because we're not getting it.
Like, yeah, no. First of all, those are 2 different D vitamins, which I try to explain to people. The vitamin D that you get from outside versus the vitamin D that you're taking are 2 different types of vitamin D. So, but that's a whole nother story. There's 3 different D vitamins. But yes. Anyway, but so that's my number one thing. I tell people, allow yourself to live imperfectly, but also remember where you started, because we don't celebrate ourselves enough also. Like, remember where you first started. Like, when you're 60 days into something, you're not like you were on day one. So Celebrate the fact you may not be where you wanted to be, like this idea that you placed in your head or where you should be, but celebrate where you are in comparison to where you started. Mm-hmm. So those are always my go-to advices, because we put so much pressure intention to be perfect and get it right.
Right.
And that causes more stress, more inflammation.
Yes, that cycle just starts all over again.
It starts all over.
Yep. And I think that's great advice, beyond just fitness, always remembering where you started from and how much success you have obtained, and don't really focus.
Yeah, I make my clients keep most people do gratitude jars, but I make my clients write down all the bad things that has happened to them. Pieces of paper and put it in a jar. And when you're feeling bad, and they was like, so when I'm feeling bad, I'm supposed to dig in the jar of the bad things. I'm like, yeah, because once you read something of a bad thing that you've been through, two things will happen. One, you may realize that you're making the bad thing you think that's bad today not that bad, because you're like, oh, this was really bad.
Right. That's true.
One. And two, you live to read the bad thing. So you will live through that bad moment that you're having now. So making sure that you celebrate the fact that you survived whatever that thing was, and remember it, because if you don't remember it, you forget that you survived something. So people forget how strong they really are.
That's true.
And especially in weak moments,
right?
You forget how strong and tough and good that you are in those bad, weak moments. So that's just a reminder to people that you are really the SHIT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I've never seen anybody do sort of a bad moment jar. So
when you bad, you reading all that good stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, and I realized that with the passing of my mom, and this is, and it clicked to me because people had all these things to say, and they're nice, and I know they meant well, but you don't want to hear it. Like,
right, not in that moment.
Especially like, it's gonna get better. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yes.
No, it's never gonna be better. So it was just like, I remember just like in those really deep moments where I had to reconnect to myself, remind myself that those pick yourself up by the bootstrap type, and it made me feel good. It made me feel worse. But what made me feel good is to know that I did it and I survived it.
Right.
And I'm okay. So I'm gonna be okay.
I could ask you like questions for another hour.
I know, we can talk all day, especially I really like it.
Oh, well, thank you.
I like this interview. It's good.
Well, okay. We're going to start to wrap it up because I know we only have so much time, but I can't let you go without asking you the Fab 4 questions that I ask everybody, because I'm quirky and weird and odd, so I like to do this. So Don't think about it, just kind of go with it, okay?
Okay.
Here we go. If you had one superpower, what would it be?
Superpower to fly.
To fly. I like that. Especially now, you wouldn't have to worry about COVID.
Well, everybody who knows me, I hate driving. I hate it with a passion. I put my car right now has less than 5,000 miles on it. I didn't buy it this year. Okay. So,
oh my God.
I put more mileage on running than I do driving. I hate driving. I would love to fly. Because I would fly everywhere I need to go.
See, I the marathon piece of you I want to talk about, but I know I can't now because that fascinates me. But yeah, that's
another day.
Right. And I won't even ask you all 4 because I know I told you I like to be on time.
Oh, that's fine.
Are you sure?
I'm good.
Okay.
Girl, I'm good. I actually blocked off 2 hours for you, so it's
okay. Yay! All right. The second one. If you could have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would it be?
My mom, my daughter, and my husband.
Oh, that was quick.
So my mom's passed away. And so I would love to just like have dinner with her just to talk about, girl things that you want to talk to about being a woman and different experiences that you go to. I also lost a daughter, and would love to know what she's saying to my mama.
You're having a good old conversation.
Girl, and my husband who don't exist, I'm like, so where you at? Where you at? Let's go to dinner and get this over with.
Wait a minute. Okay. When you said your husband, I'm like, I didn't see that anywhere in my research.
Girl, no, I ain't married. But he out there somewhere.
Yes.
So wherever you are, husband, we need to go to dinner so we can just get this over with.
Okay, yes. We need you to find Crystal. Come find her.
I'm here, waiting.
Right. All right. Third thing, this one gets people every time.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to come up with some type of, song that represents your life, sort of a theme song.
I listen to it every morning.
Oh, really? Wait, okay,
yeah.
What is it?
Strongest Glass by Guapale. Not a popular song, but she says, I'm strong as glass, built to last, but I can break. It's she talks about how, because strong women, until, because I tell people, check on your strong friend. It's like, because you're strong, I got this, but she talks about, I can break though. I can break,
right.
So, as strong as I am, as confident as I am, I just want people to remember that I can break.
Mm-hmm.
So that song is like always my reminder, like it's okay. Because I used to be fearful to show. I wrote my memoir because and it started with my mom's death as well. Because people was like, Crystal, she's strong. She gonna be okay. And I'm just like, no, I'm not.
Right. Right.
But I realized that I had created this illusion, this public persona of this strong woman doing it, out there, changing stuff up, switching careers, doing all this bad stuff, like she got this, and I realized that I didn't show the other side to me. And so that song really kind of just like, remind people like I may be strong, I may have had accomplishments, but there are moments where I'm weak, I break, I fall apart, I'm human.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to find that song because that right there, what you just
Strongest
said.
Glass, Guapale.
That resonates so much. I'm the same way. I'm like that. People think you're impenetrable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because and a part of you is, but it's just like, but I have my moments too.
Right. Yeah, I've cried in the closet a few times. Yeah.
Yes, like a big baby.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. I love this question because now I'm creating the list of the songs that all the women are giving me.
Oh, I bet that's dope.
Yeah.
You should create a Spotify sound like playlist for that.
That's what someone said.
Like the strong woman go to.
So that's gonna get added. Okay, so the last question is really like a 3-part quick statement.
Okay.
So 3 statements. So just finish these sentences. I love
pizza with avocado.
Okay, the first thing that registered was pizza, and I was like, yes. Then I heard avocado.
Yeah, so I have an intimate relationship with avocado.
Okay.
And I'll add it to everything. And if you give me pizza and avocado.
Okay, so
but I also have Dominican roots, so I tell people bear with me.
Okay.
Avocado is like a part of my DNA.
Gotcha. I'm gonna have to try that. Okay. So husband, you win her heart by bringing her pizza with avocado.
Yes, okay. And a little side of bourbon.
All right. How about I dream about?
I dream about justice and what justice and balance look like. More so balance. Like if everybody had a well-balanced life. What would that look like? Right. I dream about that a lot.
That would be interesting. That's a challenge for a lot of people just trying to
create.
Yeah.
See, I'm a Libra, so I operate in balance, and when I get off, like I don't let people around me because I need it. I crave it. Like I function in imbalance.
Gotcha.
And when I'm off, I put myself in a corner and time out because I know I'm not good for people.
Right. All right, the last one. I am.
a disruptor.
I like it. That's true. So there you have it. Crystal is a disruptor. Thank you so much for being here. Is there anything, last thing you want to share with the audience? We talked about your books. Where can they find all those again?
So the easiest way is to go to my Instagram, Crystal Hadnott. I have a link that links you to all my books, information about me, my website, all that is under that one link.
Okay. And you have some detox programs, because I was peeping those.
I do.
I need the sugar one.
I really talk. Let's talk after this.
Okay.
I really, and this is just side information, but my goal is really to help people understand their particular body makeup and how their body operate and function. But also part of that whole balance is helping people understand that there's a reason why plants and farmers understand seasonal and what develops under seasons, but also our bodies respond to seasons. So understanding detox, and detox doesn't mean we're going to juice for 10 days, but it's really not about taking away, but adding things that are seasonal and cleaning out parts of your body that needs to be cleaned out in that season. For instance, like summer is coming up, the summer detox kicks off at the end of the month. I'm excited about, so understanding that summer is the best time to detox your skin. When your skin is going through all the hell from the heat and humidity and the season change, it's the best time to detox your skin, but doing it through food. So it's kind of my thing, and it's really about how I tell people how you keep your body in a well state is working with it through a seasonal process and cleansing.
Okay. Yeah. End of this month, it's coming out.
Well, actually Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Summer Solstice is on the summer season kicks off June 20th.
Yep.
So do my summer detox.
Okay. Lovely. All right. And they can find that on your website, and you're on IG at Synergy Health. So you guys, please connect with Crystal. She's on IG, Facebook, hit her website up, show her some love. Again, Crystal, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This was fun. I enjoyed this conversation.
Yay.
We got to connect again offline.
Yes, we do. We will. So that's all the time we have, guys. Be sure to join us next Thursday. We will have a new guest, a new topic. And if you haven't connected with me, I am on IG, Facebook. You can find me, Dr. Erika by Design. And if you missed any of our previous episodes, head over to our website, www.drerikabydesign.com, and be sure to sign up for our newsletter so you won't miss any of the events and details that are going on. So thanks for listening, and we see you. Bye.